Welcome back to Unpopular Playground. Today we are going to be discussing accountability and responsibility as it pertains to maintaining your independence. This has to do with whether you're living at home with your parents and the independence you have for your responsibility as far as taking care of your chores, your bedroom, your schooling, or if you're out on your own, living by yourself or with roommates, and the same thing, sharing in the bills, taking care of the chores around the house. And now I'm going to turn it over to Jen and let her touch on some hot topics.
Well, yeah, I love how you said about how this all begins at home. Because if you're not responsible with doing your responsibilities at home, like your chores, keeping your room clean, doing the basic cooking, even the basics about locking your doors, the safety things that pertain to that, doing your schoolwork, if you have an outside job on top of that, being able to balance all of these things because life is messy. And you have to try and figure out even the scheduling with appointments. Because if you make a doctor's appointment or an arrangement with your friends, if you constantly don't show up and you have more excuses than show ups, if you make an appointment with somebody, you need to be accountable. You need to show up because nobody's going to invite you anywhere either. Try to go out on a limb to schedule things with fun people, but to constantly cancel or you're just not showing up. Oh, yeah. Was it today? Or you're late and you don't give notice and you don't communicate about what's going to happen with that day. I could have gone out with somebody else, or I could have done something else with that time. And I had that time set aside to spend with somebody or to go to the doctor's office and then they cancel. Oh, we weren't able to see you today. And it's like, I took off time from work to come and and then now my time's wasted. But they charge you if you're late or if you don't show up. But I'm just supposed to be understanding if they are late or they hold up my time. Time is precious gift and you can't get it back. And if you waste somebody's time and if you don't show up and you're not accountable with showing up on time or at all, or you're canceling all the time, that's probably my biggest pet peeve, one of my biggest pet peeves. What are your thoughts, Debbie?
The biggest thing in the outside world is if you're a no show without a call or a cancellation ahead of time, you will be charged for visits, especially with doctors, dentists, eye doctors, anything like that. If you do a no show, you will get a bill charging you for that visit because they could have fit somebody else into that spot who would be a paying patient. And it's disrespectful. That's understandable. I mean, and when you deal with the medical profession, you realize that yes, things happen, emergencies happen, and sometimes appointments take longer than that. But anything that you do is disrespectful if you don't call ahead and say, I'm running late or I'm not going to be able to make it. Can we reschedule? It's just that's just part of being an adult and taking responsibility for what your actions are for that day or whenever. And
Yeah.
I think when kids are growing up, it's okay to let them be kids to a certain point. And then at a certain point, you need to start giving them responsibilities like, okay, you need to take the trash and put it out in the trash can. And then a little bit more each year as time goes on to teach them, these are your responsibilities. And
Well,
then,
even on certain days or have time suspenses. Okay, I want the trash taken out by 5 o'clock.
Mhm.
And you know that it needs to be done. You can't just do it whenever you feel like it. A
Yeah,
lot of things do have time suspenses that mean that you need to manage your time. You need to be aware of your time so that you can, okay, well, what do I need to do today? I'm waking up. Do I have any appointments with people? what do I need to have done by a certain time? Like today, we made this arrangement to record the podcast. So I made sure to get my things done ahead of time, my other things, so that I
Mhm.
could be on time. I always try to be early. I always try and allow to be at least 15 minutes early. And if I'm early, then I can sit and read a book and relax. You also
Right.
have to keep for traffic, or you can't predict traffic. When I go out to Orange County, I allow for 2 hours. Even though I'm there early, I would much rather be sitting relaxing than angry in traffic because, even though it's only technically a 30-minute ride with all of the rest of California going out that way, it can be a lot longer. 15
I
minutes can be 3 hours
I
in
agree.
California. So,
I
what are
used to
your
do
thoughts on that?
No, I used to do the same thing. You have to realize it's your responsibility if you're working and your clock in time is a certain time, you have to give yourself extra time to make sure you're there on time, if not early. Now, I'm one of these people that I always have to be early because I have to get to work and then have my Zen time. I don't want to get to work and hit the ground running.
I hate that too.
I had a long drive when I went to work. It was 45 miles from my house to where I was working, and I was on 2 different freeways, and there were times when it just was impossible. I had to call and say, "Hey, I'm sitting on this freeway, and if you look up on your travel map on the computer, you will see I'll stand on the side of the road and I'll be waving to you. We are not moving." And then when I would get into work, they would go, "Yeah, we saw all that traffic. What happened?" I'm like, "I wish I knew." But it
Yeah,
sometimes it's inevitable that you cannot, you can't make it, but at least call ahead. Don't leave people
right.
one, where are you? Why are you not here? That's your responsibility.
I call instantly, and
And
I take a little screenshot of what the map thing looks like. They
right,
could clearly see that it's all red and,
right.
then it's excuse. And so many people lie nowadays. So you have to have proof because of all of the dishonest people.
Yeah.
So I always keep receipt that this is it. And I leave 2 hours ahead of time and I
Yep.
still didn't make it. And that's when I called and I said, look, it's already, I'm already an hour in and I'm afraid that I'm going to maybe not make it because I started 2 hours ahead. And they're like, yeah, we already know you're ahead. They know my reputation. Once people get to know you and they know that you're a responsible person because you always call in this and that, they don't question you after a while. But when they don't know who you are, you need to keep those receipts, keep that documentation on, and always, always let them know ahead of time. Always over communicate. There's nothing wrong with that. And then after a while, once you build up your reputation for being a responsible person, you don't have to do it as much. So it's worth it to just tell the truth and be accountable, just take it. Was it my fault? Yeah. I just left him because I was so tired, I just dumped him off. But I called and told him that too. I said, "Hey, you know what? I woke up late and I can't find my keys. Completely my fault. I found him. I'm on my way in." And they're like, "Yeah, that's human." But at the same time, that's yeah, I accepted that. I was accountable. I accepted that it was my fault instead of lying about it. I don't
Yeah.
know. What's your take on that?
No, I agree. You pretty much said everything I was starting to say. So you hit it all on the head.
Do you have any, concluding thoughts? That's pretty much it. Go back and listen to the last podcast where we really go into a lot more details on what
Yeah.
responsibility and accountability is, but today was focused more on time management and your accountability to other people in general, to your job and to your friends.
No, I would just say don't play the blame game. It's not everybody's fault when you make mistakes. Realize you made the mistake. It's your fault. Own up to it. Apologize for it. And people will take that a lot better than listening to you whine on and on about, oh, woe is me. And oh, it was this one's fault, oh, my clock, my this, or that. It's like, you know what? We all have problems in our life. Face up to it. Be responsible and take responsibility for what happened. Be normal, be human.
Yep. Sounds good. On that note, we will close this episode.
Aw.
Bye, guys.
Bye.